And the difference in this event is that you're not allowed to go out there with your mechanics. So you go out there and you have to get everything organized yourself and organize a two-row start. And you can see that Johnny's lined up just a little bit to the side to give Rick Johnson an opening to the inside of the more powerful 250. Watch this start Johnny gets on his 125 against 48 of the best in the world. And from the top of the motorhome, I couldn't see exactly what was going on, but as soon as they made this little right-left and headed up the hill, I saw the unmistakable helmets, the blue with white stripes, Rick in second and Johnny in fourth. I could not believe what I was seeing. Rick from the back row into second and Johnny in the top five. Johnny picked off a guy on the way down the elevator shaft, we call it, and as they headed out of sight, Johnny was all over the local favorite, Michele Rinaldi, and Rick had taken over the lead. And for Rick, this was just another routine day, back out front, leading it. Got his signal in the first turn, but I can tell you, as Rick got that signal and realized what place Johnny is, probably he was even surprised. Listen to that 125. No 125s in sight. Dropping down that, nicknamed the elevator shaft. Every lap got your attention because you had to come out of the corner and upshift one more gear because the free fall would actually carry so much more speed when you landed, you almost went over the handlebars. So with Moto 1 in the books, USA was perfect. First and second in the Moto, first in each class. Now at the Motocross of Nations, each Moto has its own podium celebration, and as Rick climbs on the top step for the win, Michele Rinaldi pleases the Italian fans with his podium finish, and you can see the concentration on Johnny's face because he knows he's going up against the 500s. And with their performance, the pressure had been building on me the whole entire moto. So with that, let's kick it up a notch to the original voice of motocross, Larry Myers.
The second moto of the 1986 Motocross of Nations will pit the powerful 500s against the 125s that only 1 hour earlier had raced the 250s. David Bailey, the U.S. 1986 500 champion, appeared confident, but he was on the spot. To save face, he needs a performance to match the ones turned in by O'Mara and Johnson. On O'Mara's face, there was only concentration. He had to be thinking, what chance do I have on a 125 against the 500s? Although the O show will be scored only against the 125s, his intentions were clear. It was time to race, and the American team was ready.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Here's what really happened. Because of the massive crowds, Chris Haynes couldn't get Johnny's bike into the impound in time, so the officials had just told Johnny, you cannot race this moto. Okay, back to Larry.
David Bailey was the first rider into the start area. In this moto, Bailey would take the first position on the gate. With 2 first-place scores turned in moto number 1, the American team would not risk the possibility of the powerful 500 running into the 125 off the line.
Doesn't get any better than that. I've never seen so many people go across the finish line in my life. Those riders were like, what should we do? Should we go? Should we stop? Because there was people all over the entire racetrack. They couldn't even continue if they wanted. Yeah, I guess you can have those. Such a buzz in the air after we had won this. And you want to go back and share it with your mechanics, with Roger, with Dave Arnold, with Tour, the people that had helped us function over there as comfortably as possible. Difficult to put into words what it feels like to win the biggest race in the world with a perfect score. Letting my dad know how happy I am. Making my way to the podium where Johnny joined us, and for the 5th year in a row, we came out on top. Now, even though it seemed like we had a pretty easy day, I was still spent. But it was a lot better than the previous 4 years that I'd been on the team, where it was so much closer. It came down to the wire, and now Johnny's turn to figure out how much money's in there. Rick just waiting for his name to be called out since he doesn't speak Italian. So that was it. I believe all three of us eclipsed even our own dreams with the performance we had that day in Maggiora, Italy. Roger DeCoster, a huge influence over our team all the years that we were over there, and especially the first year in 1981, just to convince the USA to even participate in the Motocross Nations. When I look at this photo, I remember the ride Johnny put in, our last ride as teammates, and his last ride on a Honda. We all had great careers, but on this particular day, we were kings. But just like everything else, all good things come to an end. After this race, Johnny flew home to the United States, left Honda and signed with Suzuki, and was never able to regain the form that he carried through his Honda years. A couple years later, Rick Johnson broke his wrist, and that pretty much ended his career. For me, just when I thought it couldn't get any better, 1 week later, I married my wife Gina in Vermont. 3 months after that, I crashed, and my career was over. The reason for revisiting this event started as a project with One Industries to put out a Motocross Nations inspired helmet. And I have to say that in reviewing all these photographs and all this video, it brought back emotions and feelings that I haven't had since that day. I want to thank my dad for filming this race, allowing us the opportunity to view it all these years later. And to One Industries for sharing my vision and seeing this project through. And finally to my brother Mitchell, who pulled these VHS tapes off the shelf and blew the dust off and put a 21st century spin on it.